got their own one.
Right?
Well, good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing today? Good, good, great. It's a great day to be a Cardinal, isn't it? Every day, you know it. For those of you that don't know me, I'm John Pena. I'm the building principal here at Coon Rapids High School. And the first thing I want to say is I want to say thank you. And I'm going to say thank you to the family members and support system in the crowd because we know that our journeys are really difficult, right? Students, every day is a new day. Every day is a different day. We don't know what to expect. But no matter how those days go, when you go home, you feel that love and care of your support system. So I want to express a huge amount of gratitude to you folks here. So students, why don't you give your family members and loved ones a round of applause for their support. And now, students, oh my gee crickets. What a beautiful day. Today is the first step in all of you being honored for all the hard work and dedication that you've put in. Some of you since preschool, some of you since kindergarten, some of you before, who knows? And some of you are going to continue to do this hard work after high school. No matter what you do after high school, whether it's going into the military, going to a trade, going right to the workforce, going to a 4-year or 2-year college, I hope you choose a passion and stick with it. And guess what? If you change passions along the way, that's okay. Make sure you're doing what you want to do, because as long as you're happy, you'll continue to do it and you'll continue to thrive. Today is the first step, and we have a bunch of people here that are going to present the scholarships to all of you that earned them, and they are super proud of you as well, because they know how hard it's been for you. And so use this as a great opportunity for that first step, not the last, but the first step in the futures, that whatever you want them to be, you can be as successful as you can. So with that, they tell me I'm on a time limit because I can talk all and she'll tell me the most. So I'm going to cut it short by saying I'm super proud of you. Congratulations on all your hard work, and I hope you find success in whatever it is you do. And right now, I'd like to welcome up to the stage Brendan Machulis, goes by Chewy. I'm our college and career specialist.
Thanks. At this time, I would like to invite Lana Matthews to present the Eric Matthews Scholarship.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. Like she said, my name is Lana Matthews, and I'm pleased to be here this evening to present the Eric Matthews Memorial Scholarship. The scholarship is awarded annually to a graduating senior pursuing a music-related degree in college. The scholarship program was created 3 years ago when my son Eric died unexpectedly on May 11th, 2021. When Eric passed away, he was a sophomore here at Coon Rapids High School. If you had known Eric, you would have known that his life's passion was everything music related. He was a gifted violinist. He was a self-taught pianist. His favorite class here at CRHS was music theory, and he used those skills to write his own compositions. My hope is that this scholarship helps keep Eric's memory and musical legacy alive, and that it will aid in keeping music education accessible to future generations. So without further ado, this year, I am thrilled to be giving away 4 scholarship awards. And if you would just please hold your applause for the recipients until the end. So tonight's 3 $250 honorable mention scholarships are going to Avery Aguilar McGrath for tenor saxophone, Madeline Metzler for bass clarinet, and Calissa Willie for voice. And this year's winner of the $1,000 scholarship is awarded to violist Matthew Tran for his outstanding musicianship and leadership. He is pursuing a music performance major next year at Concordia College in Moorhead. Please help me congratulate all 4 of our winners this evening. May all your futures be bright and musical.
All right, now I'm going to turn it over to the Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association, and tonight's MCs are Howard Helgen and Jim Best.
Thank you, Brenda. Could I have this already? Hello and welcome to everyone here at the Coon Rapids High School Auditorium and those watching it on video. I'm Jim Best, President of Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association, and on behalf of my colleagues, thank you for coming out on a beautiful night and welcome to the 2024 Scholarship Awards. We have a big night ahead of us as we're awarding 227 scholarships, so I'll keep acknowledgments in my remarks as brief as possible. For starters, one way we'll save a little time is by abbreviating the name of Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association and simply referring to it as the Association, or more concisely, CRCSA. CRCSA is a volunteer organization, and this is our 59th awards ceremony. As we have done the past 6 years, my colleague and the past president of CRCSA, Howard Helgen, and I will share the MC duties. We are again delighted to benefit from the skill and resources of local cable network CTN as they live stream and record tonight's ceremony for future YouTube viewing. Our sincere thanks to Neil Hannon and everyone at CTN for their work and terrific partnership. A special thank you to Anoka Hennepin District 11, especially Superintendent Corey McIntyre, Debbie Kofsky, Superintendent McIntyre's administrative assistant, and Jim Skelly, the most helpful executive director of communications and public relations for District 11. Thank you also to everyone at Coon Rapids High School, Principal John Pena, and all the administrators, faculty, staff, coaches, volunteers, and others for their efforts to support the students. Also, a thank you to the press room on Coon Rapids Boulevard for generously donating print services to CRCSA this year. Looking out at the assembled student scholarship recipients, we have tomorrow's leaders in any number of fields and occupations, some of which may not even exist today. Students, you are the future, and we're happy to be able to help you accomplish your goals and aspirations. In the programs for tonight's ceremony, those of you who may have some, a history of scholarships awarded. As I've said in years past, CRCSA had humble beginnings. As evidence of that humble beginning, in our first year, 1966, 24 scholarships were awarded for a total amount of just over $4,000. Compare that with tonight, when a record 227 recipients will share also a record $284,000 of scholarship awards. Yeah. Absolutely. Let that sink in for a minute, because it's not only remarkable, but it's the most money by far that CRCSA has ever awarded in a single year. I want to take a moment to thank the individuals, businesses, and community organizations whose contributions make this evening possible. This ceremony is different from many in that we invite our donors to join us and present their awards. And they show up in a big way. I'm told we have over 130 presenters joining us tonight. Yeah. Some are seated in the section to my left, and others are waiting patiently in the choir room or overflow areas. Incidentally, if it gets a little warm in here and anybody wants to go out to the atrium, Principal Pena had said the ceremony will be live streamed out there, so you could watch it out there too. This is a very caring and generous community. Let's not forget, if it wasn't for the collective generosity of our donors, the association would not exist, and this evening doesn't happen. Please join me one more time in recognizing them, all of our donors, for their generosity. CRCSA is a qualified 501c3 charity, and there are many ways to give and support the organization, some of which are donations by check, memorial gifts for loved ones, more about that later, qualified charitable distributions from IRAs, employer matching gifts and dollars for doers opportunities, and advanced planning methods like legacy gifts from wills, trusts, and beneficiary designations. If you or someone you know has any interest in helping CRCSA, please contact us. We would be delighted to visit with you about how to best achieve your charitable goals and wishes. I'd like to now invite the CRCSA members present to come up on stage and join Howard and me for introductions and a group photo. While my colleagues are coming up, I want to say that events like this don't just happen. It takes significant planning and coordination. Everyone in the association is committed and works very hard. To say that we're proud is an understatement, as collectively we've been working since last August to get to this point. That's 10 months. I'll be introducing all the association members shortly, but I want to start by recognizing several for their time and exceptional effort to make this event a reality. Please wave as I say your name. Julia Cornel Smith and Amy Storick, where are they? There you go, are guidance counselors at the high school, and they handle the job of communicating, coordinating, and organizing the student applications with skill and professionalism. Ashley Gerard, where are you, Ashley? There she is. Does just about everything involved with putting this program together, and it is a huge job. Year after year, Ashley handles every task efficiently, making a tough job look easy. We know it's not easy, Ashley, and we appreciate you. Gail Owen is our treasurer. Where's Gail? There she is. And with the assistance of her husband, John Sanders. John, you're in this too. There you go. Year after year, handle and process the huge volume of donations we receive and expertly keep track of CRCSA's financial record keeping. None of what we do could be done without their efforts. Cindy Miller and daughter Hannah Miller, Hannah and Cindy over there, devote countless hours visiting with our memorial donors. They do this with concern, compassion, and empathy, and sadly know all too well the bittersweet joy of a memorial to a loved one. And to Bob McCann. Bob, I don't think could make it tonight, but Bob McCann and his business Mailing Solutions, thank them for the very generous gift of services. This is most appreciated and means more of what we raise goes directly towards scholarships rather than expenses. For everybody else, please give a wave as I say your name. We're listed alphabetically. Jill Appel could not make it. Stephanie Best, Denise Evans, Howard Helgen, more from Howard later, Jurley Jensen, Sharon Legg also could not make it, Todd Menzink, John Pena, there he is, Elvina Powell, Bob Powell, Bill Reichenborn I don't think could make it, Gary Smith, Pete Spielbauer, Libby Storick-Peel, and Rob Storick. Rob is not in your program. He's a new joinee, and we're happy to have him. Allow me to introduce Laura Wallace. Laura, would you give a wave? Laura is our official photographer for the evening's proceedings. And please, when I get in line here, we'll have you take a photo. Laura's been handling the photography duties for us for about 20 years, 18 years, I think you said. Laura grew up in Coon Rapids, owns and operates her own photography business called Legacies by Laura, and is a friend of CRCSA, doing a terrific job every year. After the program, there's going to be a table set up for you to stop by in the cafeteria See Laura if you'd like to purchase prints and digital files. Her work is terrific, very reasonably priced, and I encourage you to see her after the program. We'll get a photo. Thank you for your patience. That is it for opening remarks and setting the stage. I'll invite students with scholarships numbers 1 through 38 to line up against the wall to my far right, your left. And while they line up, I'll take this opportunity to mention 3 important things before we begin. My colleagues and I take great pride in our work for CRCSA and do our best to assure that gifts for named scholarships are acknowledged in the award ceremony and that all gifts received are noted in the graduation program. However, due to cutoff dates for printing and rare but occasional inadvertent oversight, omissions sometimes occur. If that happens, we always try to make it right. In addition to tonight's program and the graduation program, there will be an updated full list of donors published in the Anoka County Herald in July. However, if despite our best efforts, there have been any omissions, please accept my apology and know that all gifts, whether it be $10 or $10,000, are most appreciated and are used to benefit students. I mentioned earlier that this is our 59th year. We're excited for our upcoming 60th year, and I'm proud to announce that we're in the final stages of launching a brand new CRCSA website. We'll be reaching out to those we're in contact with this summer with updates. And lastly, as I mentioned earlier, Howard Helgen and I will once again be sharing the MC duties tonight. We have requested and received help pronouncing names from students, and Howard and I are going to do our best to pronounce all recipients and presenters' names correctly. However, here's an apology in advance for any names we don't get quite right. There will be some. Okay, here we go with the first scholarship of the evening. The CRCSA STEP, which is the Secondary Technical Education Program scholarships. The recipients are Alyssa Satter and Isabel Allen, and the presenter is Todd Mensink. They get a free one there. We'll have you maybe hold your applause to the end so we can get things through here pretty good. But the second scholarship is from Coon Rapids Service and CRCSA, and the recipient is Ethan Hale. The presenter is my colleague Gary Smith. The next one is our first memorial scholarship. I just want to point out, this is me going off script, which is probably not a good idea. In your programs, if you have a program, the memorials are all listed in here. There's 47 of them. We thought this the best way to memorialize this. And the first one, if there are brand new to us, we'll probably read a little more on there, but everything is here for your reading pleasure. The donor on this one, it's from Ian, Alan, Jamie, and David Law in memory of James R. Law. The recipient is Siamawet Ishitu. The presenters are David Law and Victoria Law Bell. The Lori M. Brown Memorial Courage Award goes to Casey Amelsburg. The presenters are Bob and Duncan Fox. Vincent Peterson, alumnus and CRCSA, present a scholarship to Mackenzie Morset. The presenter is Jurley Jensen. A new memorial this year is from Cindy Miller, my colleague and alumna, in memory of Barb Conrad, and the scholarship is also in conjunction with CRCSA. Barb Johnson Conrad died in December 2023 after a 2-year battle with pancreatic cancer. Barb was a firm believer in education and was an educational assistant for over 20 years with District 281 in the ECFE program. She cherished every moment helping those parents and their children getting ready for their next phase of formal schooling. She is deeply missed and remembered by her husband Steve, class of '79, son Andy, Annalisa, daughter Kelsey, her husband Joel, and grandson James Conrad, along with brother-in-law Scott, class of '80, late brother-in-law Jeff, class of '83, and sister-in-law Jenny, class of '87. The recipient is Francesca Navarez Wielenberg. The presenter is Steve Conrad, Barb's husband. Cindy Miller, alumna, also is presenting a scholarship in memory of Thomas Cluck. Thomas Cluck had a dedicated career in the mental health field after receiving his bachelor's in psychology from Minnesota State Mankato and his master's in forensic psychology from Arizona State University. In addition to his career service, he also happily volunteered as a lifting coach at the local high school near his home. Thomas died unexpectedly in October of last year. He enjoyed all things Halloween and could be found powerlifting, reading philosophy, and listening to heavy metal in his spare time. He loved and was loved by his wife Andrea and their son Bennett. Thomas is remembered by his wife Andrea. The presenter is Cindy Miller, and the recipient is Avery Aguilar McGrath. The Anoka Hennepin Elementary and Secondary Principals Association and CRCSA present a scholarship to Luke Montine, and the presenter is Principal John Pena. Gerhard Funeral Home, Scharfenkamp, and CRCSA present a scholarship to Avery Gustafson, and the presenter is Ryan Scharfenkamp. Hollenbeck and Nelson, Inc. present a scholarship to Ryan Denny. The presenter is Dane Nelson.
The next scholarship donor is the Coon Rapids Lions Foundation and CRCSA, and also Dollars for Doers, which is a program that our president, Jim Best, is associated with through Alina. So the recipient of the Coon Rapids Lion Foundation Scholarship are Myrna Altabuque, Thomas Tran, and Linda Tran, presented by Jason Zienti. And the donor of the Coon Rapids Lions Foundation and Dollars for Doers Scholarship in honor of Jim Best, the recipient is Abigail Yang, also presented by Jason Zienti.
It may seem a little crowded. What we're trying to do is kind of cut down on some of the walking time and the travel time to expedite things a little bit, and it's going okay. We're just learning here, so give us a break. The donor, Michael Finney, alumnus, in memory of Pam and Carl Finney, and Cindy Miller, alumna, in memory of Carl and Pamela Finney, have a recipient is Morgan Stroman. And Michael Finney, alumnus, in memory of Pam and Carl Finney, have a second recipient, Ruby Navarez Wielenberg. The presenter is Michael Finney, son of Carl and Pamela. Pam and Carl Finney were highly involved in support for performing arts and education in the Coon Rapids community. They did extensive volunteering and were supportive of the Coon Rapids Middle School and high school music programs and extracurricular outlets. Both within and outside the performing arts sphere, Pam and Carl remained active mentors in the Coon Rapids community and many underprivileged youth and young adults throughout their lives. We appreciate Michael Finney, class of 2010, and the scholarships he just presented. Kotke's Bus Service and CRCSA present a scholarship to Trenton Tyson. The presenter is Jessica Kotchen. Tom Kiekever, alumnus, in honor of foreign exchange students in CRCSA, present the scholarship to Mateo Hernandez. The presenter is Tom Kiekever. Another memorial scholarship is the Landris Family Scholarship in memory of Edward and Darlene Landris. The recipient is Etoile Hillier, and the presenter is Cindy Miller. Very often, former classes get together and maybe in conjunction with a reunion they might have or another special event, present a scholarship. And this one is from the class of 1983 in CRCSA. The recipient is Ronan Conaway, and the presenter is Amy Storick. Our colleague Jill Appel has an Appel Family Scholarship, and along with CRCSA, present a scholarship to Zakira Thomas. The presenter is Steph Best. Rob Storick, alumnus and CRCSA, present a scholarship to Anna Kelly, and the presenter is Rob Storick. Larry Sipperly and family have a memorial scholarship, the Beverly Sipperly Family Scholarship, and Kevin, Greg, Heidi, and their spouses are here along with Larry. Maybe some people couldn't make it. The recipient is Jimmy Zhang.
Well, I'm a member of the Coon Rapids Rotary Club, which also supports a number of community activities. And our current president, Joe McKenzie, is here tonight to present 2 scholarships from the Coon Rapids Rotary Club to Raylan Franta and Emma Rothstein. I coached and refereed with Paul Perez in the Coon Rapids Athletic Association for many years. Paul died back in 2014 at the age of 59, way too young. And for many years, we've had scholarships presented in his memory by Coon Rapids Baseball Rec League. And the recipients this year are Chloe Christie and Charles Medina, presented by Paul's wife, Dawn Perez.
Thank you, Howard. The Mercy Hospital medical staff and Kopp Family Foundation present a scholarship to Madeline Metzler. The presenter is Libby Storick-Peel. Dr. Breitbach and Breitbach Family Dentistry has been a long-time donor, and Dr. Breitbach is here to present a scholarship to Henry Defoe. Another memorial is the Studeman Family Scholarship in memory of Ray Kester and Ann Studeman. The recipient is Anna Marie Speltz, and and Alex Sullivan. The presenters are Ron and Jane Studeman. Coon Rapids all-class reunion over the 4th of July raised money for scholarships for CRCSA, and we sincerely appreciate it. There are 2 recipients. The first is Jania Diaz, and the second is Shaub Mahad, and the presenter is Sue Erickson. ABC Gymnastics has what we call a legacy or perpetual scholarship with CRCSA. And this year, Don Banyan is here to present 2 scholarships. The first recipient is Hallie Top, and the second recipient is Lana Vang. Mark Rozak is a longtime donor who has a memorial scholarship in honor of his wife, Jacqueline A. Rozak, and along with CRCSA, this year is presenting a scholarship to Josephine Haig. The presenter is Mark Rozak, Sarah Lindholm, Mila Lindholm, and Philip Rozak. Thank you, Mark. Alexi Johnson, alumna, and CRCSA present a scholarship to Jalea Hall. The presenter is Hannah Miller. If I could now have students numbers 39 through 76 line up on the side. And I will turn it over to you, Howard.
All right, well, they're lining up. I wanted to check on something. I don't know how many of you listen to the radio, but I was listening the other day, and there's an ad on WCCO for California Psychics. And they wanted me to send in some money, but I thought, you know, maybe if I apply my own powers, I can have some psychic moments. So while the kids are lining up here, I'd like all of you to think very carefully about what's in your mind right now. And I'm going to think, and then in a minute I'll tell you what I think you're thinking. Okay, let's take a minute. Think very carefully. I think I've got it. I think what all of you are wondering is, what can I do to participate in the work and mission of the Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association? Am I right? Is that what people are thinking? No? Well, there's a couple things you can do very easily. And if you noticed in the program tonight, we have a reference to cans for scholarship. And you can save your cans and bring them to the recycling bin that's right in the high school parking lot. And I want to recognize Bob and Elvina Powell and Bill Reichenborn for our association, who've taken the lead on getting that project done. But seriously, if you, instead of putting your cans out for your trash hauler and letting them have the money from that, bring them, put them in a bag, and then when you come over to school for something, do that. The other thing I'd like you to do is consider joining the adventure here. Consider joining us in the association. So tonight in the cafeteria, there's going to be 2 lines for cupcakes and punch. And we'll have a booth down there that'll have a big sign for our association. So why don't you stop by if you're interested and consider joining the adventure. We'd appreciate that. Okay. Well, our next scholarship is kind of a fun one. This is the 2014 Coon Rapids Fantasy Football League Scholarship. And this is presented by the donors are Dylan Brovik, Seth Cronabush, Hawk Vu, Adam Wales, David Dubschmovic, Mitchell Pulowski, Jeremy Becker, Zach Klisch, and Jason Medved. And not all of them could be here tonight, but after graduating from Coon Rapids High School, they created the 2014 Fantasy Football League as a way to stay connected after graduating. They have a league consisting of 12 alumni who all benefited from getting a scholarship like you're getting tonight. And they set out to different colleges across the country. So they're very proud to be able to give back to the community and help a student as they began the same journey that they did back in 2014. They hope through this scholarship to inspire others to stay connected to the great friends they made during their time at Coon Rapids High School, and someday to give back to the community that they grew up in. And as they say, that they're quoting a classmate, Dakota Fornes, a 2014 grad, "When you're a Cardinal, you never stand alone." So the recipient this year of the 2014 Coon Rapids Fantasy Football League Scholarship is Parker Stoll. The Coon Rapids Gymnastics Booster Club and CRCSA award a scholarship to Michaela Saba, presenters Melissa Rath and Stephanie Ross. I do have to say a few words about our next scholarship, the Bruce Frank Legacy Bequest. As you know, Bruce Frank was our longtime president. He was president up till 2004 when I took over as president. And as you might think, that's a hard act to follow. And Bruce stayed in the association, and many of you have been here before, and he'd be the one reading the names that Jim and I are reading tonight. So Bruce died in 2018, but one of the things he did, and Jim mentioned a little bit, was that he created in his estate plan a lasting gift to the association that will provide scholarships in perpetuity. So Bruce's sister and brother-in-law, Nancy and David Goldstein, present the Bruce Frank Legacy Bequest Scholarship to Mitchell Tronson. And the family of Bruce Frank have also established a separate scholarship, Nancy, David, Mike, Bart, and Jill Goldstein, in memory of Bruce Frank, presented by Nancy and David Goldstein as well. The recipient is Jack Howard. And the other recipient of the Bruce Frank Legacy Bequest was Michaela Wild. The Anoka Hennepin Educational Foundation, Thurston Fund, and CRCSA present a scholarship to 4 recipients this year: Javier Castellanos Sandate, Thanadon Chanthavelli, Devin Dornquist, Ethan Simonet, presented by Kim Allen. The next scholarship is a memorial scholarship in memory of Ken Sundstrom. Ken and the Sundstrom family have been longtime donors to the association. Ken died on September 16th, 2023. He spent his entire teaching career in the Anoka Hennepin schools. He was the first varsity baseball coach here at the high school. And the next 3 scholarships are being presented in his memory. The Pat Sundstrom and family, in memory of Ken Sundstrom Scholarship, recipients are Alexis Sanderson and Anna Winter. And Amy Highland Barretts and CRCSA donated a scholarship in Ken's memory. The presenters are Susan Sundstrom Johnson and Ann Sundstrom Tellender, Ken's daughters. The recipient is Denise Mua. Dr. John Kennedy, who lives in Vermont and an alumnus of the high school, is given a scholarship in recognition of his teachers and coaches at Coon Rapids High School, along with CRCSA. The presenter is Pete Spielbauer. The recipient is Naya Martinez. Border Bank presents a scholarship to Diana Lopez Silva. The presenter is Eric Haig. Another memorial scholarship is in memory of Lauren Hedman, who died about a year ago in May 2023. He grew up in southwest Minnesota and had two of his grandchildren receive scholarships. In his memory, we have the Hedman Scholarship, also presented by CRCSA. The recipient is Roland Albright, presented by Dave and Karen Hedman. James Page and Sharon Hall award 3 scholarships this year. The recipients are Allison Staples, Emily Altapeter, Brenda Del Campos Mendez, presented by our Vice President, Gary Smith. Rob Anderson presents the Kelly Dye Anderson Memorial Scholarship. The recipient is Grace Knotts. Toys for Joy Incorporated and CRCSA give a scholarship to Romina Aguilar, presented by Cindy Miller. The next one is the Historic Family Scholarship, awarded by our member Amy Storick and her family. The recipient is Nathan Hevern and is presented by Libby and Scott. Ahmed Siddiqui, an alumnus of our high school here, and CRCSA present a scholarship to Japri Palmer, presented by John Sanders. All Seasons Garage Door Company is a local business. I've personally used them and they're very good. They present a scholarship to Kevin Nguyen, presented by Karen Birch and Neil Northfield. The next scholarship is a special one for our members of our association. Dick Casey was a dear member and dear friend who passed away in 2020. And Dick came up with this secret formula. I can't tell you what it is. It's a secret. It's top secret. And so if I told you, I'd be in personal danger in my personal safety. But in all seriousness, when we get the point totals and have to total them up and decide who gets what based on the point totals, Dick came up with kind of an algorithmic formula. It's been very helpful. And Kathy Casey, his wife, who was also a member of our association, is given a scholarship in memory of Dick. And the presenter is Kathy Casey. I'm not sure if any daughters are here too. Just Andrea. And Andrea, her daughter. And the recipient is Elizabeth Dane. The Anoka Hennepin Para-Educator Association and CRCSA award a scholarship to Devin Vossen, presented by Cindy Sarf, CRHS Para-Educator. The Socia Family Scholarship in memory of Michaela Peters. The recipient of this year's Memorial Scholarship is Calissa Willie, presented by David Socia and Dr. Nancy Henry Socia. The next scholarship is donated by Coon Rapids High School Volleyball Boosters and CRCSA, but I just wanted to say one thing before the award is made. Sharon Keller was a longtime Phi Ed and health teacher at Coon Rapids High School. And she died just a few days ago on May 15th. And she started the volleyball program here at Coon Rapids High School. She coached for over 25 years. She was a longtime donor, so if you'd been here in the past, you'd see Sharon walk across the stage and present scholarship. So she coached championship teams in volleyball, softball, basketball, retired in 1999. And so even though she's technically not involved in this scholarship, probably next year we'll have some scholarships in her memory. But the Booster Club awards 2 scholarships to Niabal Jock Sonia Nesseth, presented by Coach Talana Radzidis. Federal Ammunition and Vista Outdoor Incorporated and CRCSA present a scholarship to Vivian Peplow, presented by Nate Slusser. Fridley Lions Club have 3 recipients this year. Jasma Ibrahim, Guinevere Matlage, Zanaya Thompson, presented by Denise Evans. Our next scholarship is a new memorial scholarship this year for Mark Lodge Memorial. Mark was a Coon Rapids resident who died on April 11th, 2023. He taught at St. Francis High School for 36 years. He coached Coon Rapids Little League, traveling basketball, but he was also an official, sports official, football, softball, volleyball, officiated over 6,000 hockey games. And Mark is survived by his wife, Tina, of 37 years, Matthew, Bjorn, Hans, and Maren, and granddaughter, Sylvia. He was described by other officials as a class act, and we appreciate the Lodge family giving a scholarship in his memory. So the Lodge family presents the scholarship to 2 recipients, Connor Jordan and Tatum Sevchik. Amanda Rutledge receives the New Creations Child Care and Learning Center scholarship, also from CRCSA, presented by Courtney Jones. Anoka Hennepin Education Minnesota and CRCSA present a scholarship to Emma Atkinson, presented by Julie Jensen. Rosalie Houston, educator, provides the Rosalie Houston Future Educator Scholarship along with CRCSA. This year's recipient, Madeline Ossery. The Duane and Joanne Hammergen Memorial Scholarship and CRCSA is presented by Reed Mortensen. Duane and Joanne lived in Coon Rapids for many years. Duane was the part owner of Hanson Drug. He died in 2022. Joanne was an RN at Mercy who died in 2009. They had 5 children. This year's recipient is Gavin DeVries. Okay, we'll now line up numbers 77 to 114.
While they line up, I just wanted to say that, you've heard about some of our former colleagues, Bruce Frank, Dick Casey, and others. And really, as an organization, we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us and set the bar high, really pillars of the community. As I mentioned in the room beforehand, to our donors are really pillars of the community too. And we really appreciate it. As we've said several times, we couldn't do any of this without them. So it's very much appreciated. We'll continue. The next scholarship is from an anonymous donor. There are actually two recipients. The presenter will be my colleague Gail Owen. The first recipient is Olivia Duclos. And the second recipient is Tobias Manu. Many of the elementary schools present a scholarship, and Sand Creek Elementary PTO and CRCSA is proud to present a scholarship to Matthew Fable. The presenter is my colleague Todd Mensink. Another memorial is the Shirley and Merrill Gollier Memorial, and CRCSA present the scholarship to Amarina Irvin. The presenter is David Gollier and Sue Andrea. The Hyde Family Runners Scholarship is presented to Kaylee Bierman. The presenters are Alyssa and Leanne Hyde. Cardinal Tennis Association is a longtime supporter and a very generous supporter, and along with CRCSA, present 4 scholarships. The presenter will be Coach Scott Storick. The recipients are Greta Fritchie, Natalie Hansen, Natalie's not here, I'm sorry, Ryder Held, and William Wagner. Coach Storick will get Natalie her scholarship. Thank you, Scott. The next scholarship is a long time. Sadly, Brady McLean passed away, a student that passed away. His parents, John Lom and Kelly McLean, established a scholarship, and this year there are 2 recipients. Zachary Bachman is the first recipient. The presenters are John Lom and Kelly McLean. And the second recipient is Kiera Ross. Coon Rapids North Star Lions and CRCSA present a scholarship to Tori Osborne, and the presenter is Libby Storick Peel. The Coughlin Family Scholarship. This year's recipient is Jackson Speece. The presenter is Amy Storick. Edith Fraser was a longtime media specialist in Coon Rapids, and the Edith Fraser Memorial and CRCSA Scholarship this year is presented to Jasmine Bonet and Encalada, and the presenter is Edith's son, James Fraser. Magnify Financial and CRCSA present a scholarship to Taniu Wengfam, and the presenter is Beatrice Banos. David Tom presents a scholarship. This year's recipient is Nathan Vang. The presenter is Steph Best. The next scholarship I want to just spend a minute on. We received a phone call from a graduate of Coon Rapids, Alyssa Nordstrom, and she wanted to establish a scholarship in honor of her mother, Linda Nordstrom, and Linda is here to present tonight. There are actually 3 recipients due to Alyssa's generosity. The first recipient is Alexandra Jaspers. The second recipient is Ellie Carson. And the third recipient is Matthew Tran. And incidentally, Linda Nordstrom was a longtime educator in the district. 21 years. Thank you for your service. Brian and Maureen Eichstadt present a scholarship. The recipient is Sophia Meyer, and the presenter is my colleague Ashley Gerard. The Coon Rapids Community Strength Foundation and CRCSA present a scholarship. This year's recipient is Daisy Morris, and the presenter is John Sanders. A scholarship that was established last year, another memorial in your programs, a very touching memorial, is the Anna Novak Madison Courage Over Fear Legacy Scholarship Fund. This year's recipient is Macy English, and the presenters, we're happy to have them with us, Brian and Cindy Novak. Susan Everett, retired faculty, and Donald and Vicki Funvar present a scholarship. The recipient this year is Hunter Swanson. The presenter is Susan Everett. Northeast Bank has been a longtime sponsor and generous donor to CRCSA. This year, Mark Ethan, on Northeast Bank's behalf, presents a scholarship to Leah Sanasaka. Mark Ethan will also present the Connexus Energy Foundation Scholarship. Connexus has been a longtime sponsor to CRCSA, and we're very, very appreciative of their generosity. There are 5 recipients, the first of which is Praise Akin Bamijo. The second is Ryan Mellum. The third is Montavian Thomas. The fourth is Kamaya Villanueva. Absent tonight, I believe. We'll get her scholarship. And the fifth is Nevaeh Zawoski. Thank you, Mark. And Connexus. Avis and Nick Brasheko, longtime members of CRCSA, present a scholarship in memory of Arlene Ziethammer, Avis's mother. This year's presenter is our Avis and Nick Brasheko, and the recipient is Soraya Rahi. Nick and Avis also present a scholarship in memory of their daughter, Julie Brasheko. And along with CRCSA, we're proud to present the scholarship to Darcy Woodbury. Thank you. Kate Brasheko, daughter of Avis and Nick Brasheko, presents a scholarship in memory of her sister, Julie Brasheko. And along with CRCSA, Kate Brasheko is proud to present the scholarship to Selena Cardenas Lazos. Chuck, who is an alumnus of CRCSA, and Pat McGee and CRCSA present a scholarship to Keosha Flowers, and the presenter is my colleague, Gail Owen. Another class that, along with their reunion, provided funds for a scholarship is the class of 1968 reunion committee and CRCSA. My colleague Hannah Miller is proud to present the scholarship to Tyler Craig. Margaret Schovold Memorial Scholarship. The Mary T. family of companies in CRCSA have been longtime donors to the organization. And this year, the presenter is Scott Rugel, and the recipient is Colin Easton. Along with the many booster clubs is the Coon Rapids High School Boys Booster Club, presenting a scholarships, this year. The first recipient is Anthony Belpedio, and the presenter is Jill Hetwer. A hug, why not? And the second recipient is Jackson Hetwer, and something tells me there's going to be a hug here too. I was correct. Another donor in your programs, a memorial donor, excuse me, in the programs is an organization called Two Wheels for Heroes. It was referenced earlier in the Jackie Rozak Scholarship, but this one is in memory of Jackie Rozak also, a CRHS alumna. Jeff Holmstrom and Ted Grundhauser are here again. This year's recipient is Adam Lutke. And if I could have students number 115 to 165, 115 to 165, line up, please.
Whatever, sure, no problem. All right, we're moving right along, and as the students line up, sometimes people wonder, well, how are these scholarships awarded? Is it just we sit in the back room and we decide who to give it out to our friends and our neighbors and that sort of thing? Nothing could be further from the truth. Most of you know that, but scholarships are awarded 75% based on academics and about 25% on other factors such as school and community activities. So it's on a blind basis. None of us know who's going to get what point totals, and the point totals are totaled, and then we see how much donations we have, and then we decide what scholarships are given out. I think you should know that there are 5 high schools in Anoka-Hennepin District, and I'm proud to say that Coon Rapids High School gives out by far the most scholarships to graduating seniors. And as Jim has so well mentioned, that can only happen through the generosity of our donors, which are greatly appreciated. So moving forward, we have the Blaze Credit Union and CRCSA Scholarship presented by Julie Jensen. The recipient is Alexander Plomban. Denise Evans presents the Carol Austin Alumna and CRCSA Scholarship. The recipient, Madeline Jurek. The Coon Rapids Gridiron Club and CRCSA present 2 scholarships. The first recipient, Samuel Dennis, presented by Coach Nick Russin. The second recipient, Lofton Ogroski, also presented by Coach Russin. The Jim Madison Memorial Scholarship, Janice Madison and CRCSA are the donors. The recipient, Samantha Dennis, presented by Cindy Miller. The Coon Rapids Super Senior Club is another one of our continuing donors. We have 3 recipients. The first recipient is Joseph Gerard. Presenters are Laura Peckerick, Danette Marino, Bernice Olson, and I guess we just have one. And then we have another scholarship recipient, Andrew Hyatt. He's not here. And Hannah Metcham, presented by Bernice Olson and Laura Peckerick.
The Mary Holmgren Education Legacy Scholarship and CRCSA are proud to present a scholarship. The presenters tonight are Mary Holmgren and Ryan Holmgren. The Mary Holmgren, oh, it looks like Mary's alone tonight. The Mary Holmgren Endowed Education Scholarship was established in 2023 by the children of longtime Coon Rapids High School teacher Mary Holmgren to honor her legacy by providing financial support to future educators. Mary taught health and physical education for 37 years, beginning at Coon Rapids Senior High in 1974 and retiring in 2011. During that time, she taught close to, get this, 13,000 students, while also coaching girls swimming and diving and gymnastics and assisting with track and field and softball for good measure. Did you have any free time? Did you have any free time? You were busy. Yes, she was. Since retiring, Mary has worked in other capacities at Coon Rapids, often substitute teaching and proctoring AP tests. In total, Mary has dutifully served Coon Rapids High School for 50 years and counting. The scholarship recipient tonight is Emily Kelly, and the presenter is Mary Holmgren.
Our next donor, Transformative Circle Leadership and Diversity Scholarship in CRCSA. The recipient is Amelia Eric, and the presenter is Luann Koskinen. And Luann, I'm not going to sing happy birthday to you this year. That happened 2 years ago. Stan and Jeanette Rosand and CRCSA present a scholarship to Lalifto Hussein, presented by Elvina Powell. Our next scholarship is the Sue Scott Memorial Scholarship. The presenters are Sue's parents, Ron and Karen Scott. Ron, you may remember, was a longtime football coach here at Coon Rapids. And Karen was the one that got Bruce Frank involved in the association to start with. So the recipient this year is Anna Langworthy, presented by Ron and Karen Scott. Donors Kim and Terry Westra are giving a scholarship in appreciation for the scholarships that their kids received. The recipient is Kaylee Smith, presented by Libby Storick Peel. Brett Gageby, alumnus and CRCSA, present a scholarship to Joseph Danek, presented by Todd Mensink. The next scholarship is the Lee Sorsley Memorial Scholarship. Lee died in 2022. You may remember that he was the co-captain of the 2002 football team. I am personally involved because my son Mike was co-captain with Lee. Lee died very unexpectedly at age 38. And there are two presenters tonight. The first Lee Sorsley Memorial Scholarship is presented by his mother, Kathy Sandberg, to Aloysius Niapin. And the second Lee Sorsley Memorial Scholarship is presented and given by Lee's teammate, Paul Cross, recipient, Reed Duclos. The Lauer Family Fund presents a scholarship to Natalie Berg. The presenter is John Sanders. Demand Seals presents a scholarship to Kieran West Kendrick on behalf of the donor Coon Rapids Middle School, Falcon Council, and CRCSA. Coon Rapids High School Dance Team, Booster Club, and CRCSA give a scholarship to Ella Felling. Presenter is Denise Mooney. Corey Yell Skiba presents a memorial scholarship in memory of Tel and Wanda Yell and Ron Burgess. The Yell family were longtime supporters of CRCSA. I believe Tel died in 2015 and Wanda in 2019. She was a longtime member of the association. And Elaine Burgess, who is also the longtime Elo Jacob principal. The recipient is Jafer Kasim.
Presented by Michael Gork.
Okay. Presented by Michael Gork. Billy Harper was a 2010 graduate of Coon Rapids High School, a football player. He went up to UMD and tragically passed away. In his memory, friends and loved ones have presented a scholarship, the Billy Harper Memorial Scholarship. This year's recipient is Kenneth Wells, presented by Principal John Pina. Dr. Daniel Feeney, Janet and Russell Feeney. Dr. Feeney is an emeritus professor of vet radiology at the U of M. Present a scholarship to Brock Browen, presented by Cindy Miller. Janet and Dan were longtime members of the association. Dr. Mark Kelly gives a scholarship in honor of Gerald and Dolores Kelly, also given by CRCSCA. The recipient is Peace Ajoga. Presenter is Denise Evans, his sister. The next scholarship is another memorial scholarship. Tom Lovick and Kathy Lovick were high school sweethearts. Kathy died on July 6, 2022. Both are in the class of 1981, leaving children Abby, Hank, Ava, and Lewis. There are 5 recipients of the Lovick Family Scholarship. The first recipient, presented by Tom Lovick, Ava Lovick, and Abby Cassidy, is Sophia Kahn. Next recipient, Nehemiah Q. The third recipient, Ashley Flynn. Fourth recipient, Colin Howell. And last but not least, Sophia Smith. Epiphany Assisted Living and an anonymous donor award a scholarship to Jasmina Osmovicek, presented by Amy Storick. Alan and Therese Hamill award a scholarship to Faith Tobias, presented by Steph Best. Heather McGarry Traeger awards a scholarship in memory of her father, Bill McGarry. The recipient is Skylar Stoltenberg, presented by John Sanders. The Egan Family Scholarship, also given by CRCSA, goes to Cooper Gillespie, presented by Gail Owen. Kevin and Patricia Wasek and Expedition Foundation present a scholarship to Gracie Spirlick, presented by Hannah Miller. Another memorial scholarship is in memory of Geraldine Pedersen. The recipient is Amadion Flores, presented by Glenn Pedersen. Coon Rapids High School Girls Hockey Booster Club and Coon Rapids Youth Hockey present scholarship. The first recipient is Samantha Marnholtz, presented by Sue Erickson. The next recipient, Coon Rapids Youth Hockey and CRCSA, Elijah Bowden. Third recipient, Rowan Bresnahan. Number 4, Tristan Golan. And recipient number 5, Gavin Spa. Cardinal Hockey Red Line Club and Coon Rapids Youth Hockey give a scholarship to Benjamin Kish, presented by Sarah Barsness and Sue Erickson. And the Cardinal Hockey Red Line Club and CRCSA award 3 scholarships presented by Sarah Barsness. The first one goes to Tyler Barsness. Second recipient, Nolan Hazelwood. Number 3, Luke Rising. Coon Rapids VFW Post 9625 and CRCSA award 2 scholarships presented by Denise Evans, first recipient Ethan Hadrath. Second scholarship goes to Joshua Holder. The next presenters are Judy Sabo, Ulrika Erickson, and Ulrika's children, Soren, Axel, and Siri. Please come on out here. John Sabo, my longtime friend and board member, died last September. He was 85 years young. John and his wife Judy joined the association, according to when I talked to Judy, when their son Olaf was in 10th grade. That was probably back in 1989 or 1990, somewhere around there. I think I came on board in the association a few years later. So John and Judy were in our association for 35 years. Judy told me that Bruce Frank asked John and Judy to come to a meeting. The next thing they knew, they were on a committee, and the rest is history. For many years, John has walked across this stage to present scholarships to graduating seniors. And John, we miss you and we'll never forget you. And we honor your memory this year with several memorial scholarships. And the first one, the John Sabo Memorial Scholarship, there's 2 recipients. First one is Tiffany Duong. And the second recipient is Madeline Larson. And Judy has given a scholarship in memory of John. And again, the presenters are Judy and her daughter Ulrika and Ulrika's children Soren, Axel, and Suri. The recipient is Ophelia Yang. And not to be outdone, Ulrika Erickson, who is an alumnus of Coon Rapids High School, and her husband Matt Erickson are giving a scholarship in memory of John. The recipient is Ryan Johansson. And John and Judy's son Olaf, who's not here tonight, and his wife Circa give a scholarship in memory of their dad. The recipient, Alexis Vang. John and Judy's daughter, Britt Sabo, and her husband, Jacob, give a scholarship. The recipient is Yana Obada. All right, after that moment, we will line up numbers 166 to 205.
Two things, if I may, while they line up. You know, Howard and I have a unique perspective up here. We're up kind of close. It is fun to see not just the look of pure joy on the scholarship recipient's face, but also on the donor's face. It really, really is heartwarming. And if I could just ask, you know, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes with an event like this, and we have some people behind the scenes here and in the overflow rooms and out in the atrium. Could we just give a hand to everybody working so hard behind the scenes? Thank you. The next scholarship is the Competition Cheer Spirit Booster Club and Charitable Minnesota and CRCSA. There are 2 recipients. The presenter is Lauren Barron, and the first recipient is Cassandra Wiggin. And the second recipient is Jada Gray. The Coon Rapids High School Girls Basketball Booster Club and CRCSA present a scholarship to Casey Beck. The presenter is Coach Bierman. The next is another memorial scholarship. Tammy Baer was a teacher at Hoover Elementary, and along with Freedom Financial Partners, LLC, and Tammy's brother, Trevor Christian, present a scholarship to a former student of Tammy's, Calvin Schnabel. The presenters are Ryan, I think the whole family is here, yep. Ryan Baer, that is Tammy's spouse, and children Kaylee, Drew, and Chloe Baer. The second scholarship recipient is Haley Cloutier, presented by Kaylee and family. Thank you. The Coon Rapids Swim and Dive Booster Club presents 2 scholarships along with CRCSA. The presenter is Christina Schultz, and the first recipient is Ella Noah. Recipient number 2 is Nolan Schultz. Libby Storick-Peel, colleague of mine with CRCSA, an alumna, 2012 grad, and CRCSA presents a scholarship to Jocelyn Klein, and the presenter is Libby Storick-Peel. Another legacy scholarship is the Marlis Dorff Legacy Scholarship. The children of Marlis Dorff established the scholarship in Marlis's memory. It's Scott Dorff, Stacy Randall, and Stephanie Libis. The presenter is my colleague, Jerly Jensen, and this year's recipient is Isabella Cigarrero. Gary and Alex Smith. Gary, our vice president on CRCSA, and Keller Williams Classic Realty, along with CRCSA, present a scholarship to Joseph Ditta. The presenter is Gary Smith. Relieve Care, Inc. presents a scholarship. This year's recipient is Nicholas Nguyen. The presenter is Todd Mensink. Coon Rapids Girls Soccer Booster Club and CRCSA present a scholarship. This year's recipient is Monica Bolanos. The presenter is Kristen Green. Spielbauer Sandate Family Scholarship, presented by my colleague Pete Spielbauer and his wife Lupe. The recipient this year is Adrian Hayden. Amy Highland Barrett's alumna, in memory of Marlon Highland, presents a scholarship. The presenter this year is my colleague Gail Owen, and the recipient is Matthew Lewandowski. Gail will also present 2 additional scholarships that Amy Highland Barrett's alumna, in memory of Marlon Highland, has generously produced for us. The first recipient is Matthew Rankilla. And the second recipient is Isabella Stewart. Gail will also stay to present the Eric Highland Memorial Scholarship. Eric Highland, class of '81, was on the debate team here at Coon Rapids. He followed the love of debate to Lewis and Clark College in Portland, Oregon, where he graduated in 1985 with a major in international relations. Eric was a lobbyist by profession, most recently starting his own business, Eric Highland Government Affairs. Eric cherished his many friends and business cohorts whom were an integral part of his life. Eric was a lifelong learner, which led to his love of collecting. His love of golf, hunting, fishing, and travel consumed him. He was a great son, brother, and uncle who always tried to put family first. The Eric Highland Memorial and CRCSA Scholarship this year is presented to Kendra Knutson. Amy Highland Barrett's also has another memorial, this one in memory of Eric Highland. The recipient is Anna Brown, and the presenter is Gail Owen. Joseph Tazinski, alumnus, in honor of Tom and Jan Tazinski, along with CRCSA, present a scholarship to Rance Churak Martinson. The presenter is Amy Storick. Another memorial is the Joe Miller Aloha Memorial Scholarship. Cindy Miller, alumna, our colleague, will be presenting with her daughter Hannah. Cindy's husband and Hannah's father Joe sadly passed away tragically. The recipients this year are Kelsey Blanchette, and Caleb Cullen. Kathleen Pale's agency, LLC, American Family Insurance, and CRCSA present a scholarship to Claire Comstock. The presenter is Principal John Pena. David Forsberg and CRCSA present a scholarship. The recipient is Romel Apedo. Libby Storick is presenting. Brian and Brooke Limonen, alumni, and Deep Portage Holdings are proud to present a scholarship to Jessica Edom, sorry. The presenter is Elvana Powell. Derek Ellingson and CRCSA present a scholarship to Hojin Kamata, presented by Steph Best. The Coon Rapids Girls Lacrosse Booster Club and CRCSA present a scholarship to Annette Abbott. The presenter is Neil Sawyer. Dow Wynn, CPA, and CRCSA are proud to present a scholarship to Ashton Fink. The presenter is my colleague, Jerly Jensen. CRCSA is proud to present a scholarship to Deborah Smead. The presenter is John Sanders. The Coon Rapids Fast Pitch Association and CRCSA presents 2 scholarships, the first of which is to Maya Rudy. The presenter is Jeff Thompson. And the second recipient is Ashley Kivioya. The Kofsky Family Scholarship in memory of John H. Kofsky and CRCSA is presented to Samantha Schultz. The presenter is Ashley Gerard. Ashley is the granddaughter of John Kofsky, who was one of our founders, founding member of CRCSA. Luther North Country Ford Lincoln and CRCSA present a scholarship to Fatima Al-Sadi. The presenter is Julia Cornel Smith. Heather Bagley and CRCSA present a scholarship to Lena Al-Sharafi. The presenter is Denise Evans. Cardinal Baseball Boosters and CRCSA present 2 scholarships, the first of which is to Thomas Dutton. The presenter is Dory Novak. And the second recipient is Matthew Stahlberger. Coon Rapids Cardinal Little League presents 4 scholarships this year. They've been longtime supporters of CRCSA. The presenter is Nicole Bratton, and the recipient number 1 is Logan Ness. Second recipient is Zach Novak. Third recipient is Alexandra Pearson. And last but not least is Matthew Anderson. Casey and Janelle Waterman, alumnus and CRCSA, present a scholarship to Jaden Kopp. The presenter is Libby Storick-Peel. We are almost done. If I could have the remaining students, number 206 to 227, line up. Howard will take us home.
We're doing pretty good on time tonight. We'll be out of here before midnight. While the students are lining up, I wanted to tell a joke. We have to be careful in this day and age on jokes because sometimes they're not appropriate. I hope this one's appropriate, but because I'm Norwegian, I'll make it about Norwegians. So Ole bought a motor from Sven, and Sven didn't have any cash on him, so he gave him a check for $75. And Ole said, "What do I do with this?" He said, "I only deal with cash." He said, "Well, just go to the bank and they'll cash the check for you." So first he went to the Irish bank, and they said, "Ole, what do you got?" And he said, "I got a check for $75. Can I cash it?" "Sure, we know you, Ole. And what do I do?" "Well, just endorse the check on the back." Does anybody still use checks? But you have to endorse the check on the back. And Ole said, "Well, I'm not going to do that because you know me, and I'm a stubborn old Norwegian, so I'm not going to do it." So they said, "We're not going to give you your money." So, okay, he goes down the street to the Swedish bank. And kind of the same thing happens. He says, "I want my money." And they say, "Just sign on the back here, no big deal." And he says, "Well, I'm not going to sign it because you know me, and why should I have to sign my name?" So he said, "You're not going to give you the money." So then he decides he better go down the street to his friends at the Norwegian bank. So he goes in there, and he knows the guy at the counter, Olaf. And so he says, "Olaf, I haven't been able to cash this check. I'd like to do this." "No problem. What do I do?" "Well, just sign your name on the back." He says, "I don't want to sign." So Olaf says, "Come on over here, Ole." So Ole comes over the counter and takes him by the hair and smashes his head down on the table. And Ole is kind of dazed, and he says, "Okay, I'll sign." And as Ole was leaving the bank, he said, "What I like about these Norwegian banks is they really know how to explain things to you." All right. Let's get a little bit serious here. We can tell the joke because we're doing pretty well on time tonight. The Elizabeth Pearson is given a scholarship in memory of Catherine Pearson. Catherine Pearson graduated from Coon Rapids in 1988 and received degrees from New York University, the University of Minnesota, and completed her physician's assistant program at Yale Medical School in 2001. Then she was hired by the Mayo Clinic and was instrumental in developing their physician assistant program there for over 20 years. She received many awards, and she was part of a team that earned the Department of Medicine Innovation Grant to develop a portable simulation-based training program. Unfortunately, she died in January of 2023, and the memorial scholarship in her memory is going to Cheyenne Goldsmith, presented by Amy Storick. Todd and Kelly Mensink and CRCSA give a scholarship to Ramsey Blackstone, presented by Todd Mensink. Okay. And Kyle Shimo, alumnus and CRCSA, give a scholarship to Ella Briner, also presented by Todd Mensink. Pete Spielbauer presents the Dylan Sorman and CRCSA scholarship to Caitlin LaFleur. Our next presenter is Julia Cornel Smith, one of our members and a guidance counselor. She presents the Tom Cornel Memorial Scholarship in honor of her father. Her father, Tom, died in December of 2020. He grew up in Wilmer, and the Wilmer also has the Cardinals as their mascot. And he lived with cancer for 19 years. He did many things in his career, including teaching and being in the insurance business. So Julia, in his memory, presents the scholarship to Soraya Akawe. Hoover Elementary PTO recipient is a scholarship as Isaac Yang Win, presented by Demond Seals. James Harker awards a scholarship to Charles Schulte, presented by Gary Smith. Jeff Ammon, Farmers Insurance Company and CRCSA, award a scholarship to Rena Gonzalez, presented by Jurley Jensen. John Lems, an alumnus with Breakthrough Consulting, recipient Nadia Miantona, presented by Steph Best. The next scholarship is in memory of Lewis Peterson, also given by CRCSA and the Coon Rapids Kiwanis Club. The Kiwanis Club gave some funds that will provide scholarships over a long period of time. Presenter is Hannah Miller. The recipient is T. Tron. Kelly and Deb Becker, alumni and CRCSA, award a scholarship to Mia Yang, presented by Ashley Gerard. The Kopp Family Foundation Scholarship goes to Mackenzie Woods, presented by Denise Evans. Laura Nelson, alumna and CRCSA, give a scholarship to Aaron Garcia Hinojos, presented by Libby Storick Peel. And Jim mentioned that Bob McCann is one of our members of the association. And what Bob does is he has a company called Mailing Solutions, Inc. So when we send out all our mailings to our donors, Bob does that. Basically, the only thing we pay for is the postage and the envelopes. It saves a ton of money and allows us to award more scholarships instead of spending money on that expense. So Bob also donates a scholarship. This year's recipient is Caleb Russell, presented by Elvina Powell. The next two scholarships are really remarkable. Liz Helm was a longtime member of our association. Liz died in 2009, and her husband, Bill Helm, had died way back in 1978. But going back to like 1979 and now all the way up to the present time, the family members have presented a scholarship each year in behalf of both their father and their mother. So the first scholarship is the Mary Helm Duryea Alumna Scholarship and Peter Duryea in memory of their father, Bill Helm. The recipient is Trinity Hooten, and the presenter is John Sanders. And John Sanders also presents the Michael and Brenda Helm Scholarship in memory of Elizabeth Helm to Celeste Mama. The Ostendorf Family Scholarship, also from CRCSA, goes to Zahara Jamil, presented by Jurley Jensen. Rebecca Frost, alumnus and CRCSA, award a scholarship to Ahmad Raqib, presented by Todd Mensink. The Rothstein family has given a scholarship for many, many years in memory of their father and husband Peter Rothstein, along with CRCSA, presented by Cindy Miller, this year's recipient, Jacob Rabarchik. The RMS Company and CRCA award a scholarship to Colin Tybur, presented by Pete Spielbauer. Steinwall Incorporated and CRCSA give a scholarship to Adam Mohammed, presented by Amy Storick. I want to say just a few words about our last scholarship tonight, the Howard Kortmeyer Memorial Scholarship. You probably noticed in the program, and Jim has mentioned, that Howard Kortmeyer founded our association way back in 1966. Starting from giving out just a couple $1,000s to a few students, we've grown greatly over the last 59 years. But if it wasn't for Howard Kortmeyer, none of us would be here tonight. We wouldn't have this association. We wouldn't have all these scholars. We wouldn't have been able to get the other donors involved. Howard continued in the association until he died in 2013. He's a great friend, and we honor his memory today by a scholarship. Presented by Gary Smith, the recipient is Tiffany Kababe. Let's give a big round of applause for all our donors and recipients. Well, we've made really good time tonight with all these streamlined activities we've done, so I do have time for about 45 minutes of comments. But I've actually had many requests, but despite those requests, I did agree to MC tonight. But I want to congratulate the parents of all the graduates. I've raised 3 teenagers myself, and I think raising teenagers is kind of like trying to nail Jell-O to a tree. Very difficult. But on a personal note, I'm going to be going to St. Olaf this weekend for my 50th college reunion. And when you think back 50 years ago, when we went to college, things were quite different. I thought we were in the modern age, but you know, we didn't have the internet. I went to a great college, got a great education. I've been very blessed. But we had no phones in our dorm room. We had one phone down at the end of the hall. And if somebody wanted to call us, we had a buzzer system in our room, and we shared the phone with like 25 people. Things have really changed. Now we're going on to college, and you're going to further your education, and you're going to be dealing with a world that's polarized, and it's a problem where we have insults and inflamed rhetoric that really predominates over civil discourse. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that education is a great equalizer in our society. It doesn't matter where you come from or where you're going or what you do. If you go to school and you work hard and you do your best, you're going to be successful. It may be a cliche, but it really isn't. If you obtain a quality education in whatever field you choose, you're going to be successful in life. But I can tell you from personal experience going back 50 years that when you go off to college or school, you're going to have a lot more freedom than you had when you were at home. And that includes the freedom to do really stupid things. So one of the things in life to try to avoid is try to avoid doing stupid things. And to keep your eye... Yeah, that's just not the parents clapping, right? But it is important to keep your eye on the prize, because what's going to happen at some point in your life, you're going to be faced with a situation where you kind of meet the fork in the road, and you got to make a decision. You know, maybe you see somebody being bullied or somebody being taken advantage of, and you got to decide, am I going to be part of the problem, or am I going to be part of the solution? Because you're the future of this country. Most of us on this stage are not going to be here when you're graduating and going on in your careers. So what I hope you will do is that you will gratefully and gracefully accept the scholarship that you've been given. But not today and not tomorrow and maybe not next year, but maybe in 5 years or 10 years and whatever, when you have more time and you have more money, that you consider giving back to the community, just like the people that we've heard about tonight have done to this community. So I think you'll find, as we have in our lives, that it is more blessed to give than to receive, and you'll never, never regret helping other people. So congratulations, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Howard. Well said. Words of wisdom. Well, we did it. An evening of fun and generosity. 227 scholarships. Here's a reminder, a couple quick things. Invitation to join us in the cafeteria immediately following tonight's program for refreshments and time to visit. Be sure to stop by Laura Wallace's table to check out the professional photos. And that brings us to a close. This year's scholarships of $284,000 brings the grand total for 59 years of CRCSA to over, brace yourselves, $5.4 million. Thank you again to our generous donors, without whom none of this would be possible, to our friends at CTN, and to everyone who made this Scholarship Awards night possible. I'd like to also extend one more thank you to all the CRCSA members for their continued efforts. And on behalf of my CRCSA colleagues, especially my co-MC Howard Helgen, congratulations to all the students. We're very proud of you and extend our best wishes for a successful future and the hope that you do good things. Thank you again to everyone here and everyone watching at home. Good night.